We are live, Scott. Go ahead with what you were saying.
Anyway, I was telling Ellis that I'm off work this week, and so I've been drawing. And really, the reason why I took off work is because I have extra vacation I need to take.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at the point where I'll lose it, but I will be at the end of the year. And so rather than be forced to take a bunch at the end of the year, I'm taking a little bit here and there. And so I took off this week because of the holiday.
Yeah.
And so I was off for 9 days. I go back on Monday, and I was just seeing if Ellis wanted to go with me downtown because I've realized, and this is what I wanted to tell you, I've realized the pandemic has kind of made me a bit of a homebody.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh well. Yeah. We've all got to break some stuff. I mean, you can't have a year worth of being terrorized and expect to just start tomorrow like everything's okay.
Absolutely, so today I went and got a haircut, and then I went to Half Price Books. I went to Michael's. I'll talk about Michael's in a second, but and then I went to the 45th Infantry Museum, and
Cool. But you made the rounds.
yeah, and well, because I wanted my goal this week was to draw half a
Oh
day,
yeah.
run around half a day, and I didn't really. Yesterday I had something I had to do. Well, I met my mother. I'm doing a drawing for my father's headstone, and so I met mom at the yesterday afternoon at the monument place, and then
Will it be in like a copper that's put on the headstone, or will it be in stone?
no, it'll be sandblasted into this
Wow.
the
Cool.
stuff. It's oh, so mom had me take it. Oh, I don't have it. Well, maybe I got it here. So mom and dad would sit. They had a pair of easy chairs, and so this is basically what mom wants on there. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? My
Let
hand.
me look. I'm sorry, I was messing with YouTube. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to draw that in. And the big thing was I want to talk to them about whether they could use it in Adobe Illustrator
Hmm.
because that's the or what how they and so I'm
Well,
gonna
I'm sure they can almost get photographic with it. They can make uh,
well it's
they
not
can make a separation that is basically like a half tone that they
well
etch out.
and they're not gonna do that though on
Okay.
this because it's just gonna be sand. I mean they could. They showed me some
I
that
bet you could do a charcoal sketch that looked like a charcoal sketch.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, but they interpret that by hand. They have to go in and sand and blast it by.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah,
Well, you say they have to interpret it. Isn't the interpretation just photographic?
no, that I would
Okay, okay.
if it had any kind of shading on it, they would they would I would send them the picture and they would I don't know if they'd laser the outline, but then they would sandblast it with a hand sandblaster and just kind of carve it out by hand.
Hmm. Well, I mean,
That
you're
that's part.
you're around as much of that kind of technology, more so than I am.
Oh
So
yeah, that's what I
so
do.
you'd be acquainted with what they do with masks and all
Well,
that when
they
they
don't.
get into stuff.
They don't. I mean, yeah. So we're not going that route because it's a lot more expensive too.
Hmm.
It's going to be big. It's going to the back of the head. It's going to be on the back of the headstone, and so it's probably going to be, I think, like 16 inches across. But I'm going to do a line. So I'm going to do a fairly detailed line drawing. She said I need to. All my lines need to be at least an eighth of an inch thick. So
Okay, okay.
you know,
But you feel like they are going to have to almost hand etch this
if it
after
had
you give it to them.
no, no,
Okay, okay.
it's I wait. Did I say
Well, I
sand?
mean, you are sandblasting. I mean, it's
Laser,
sandblasting, but yeah, go ahead. No, I'm
it's gonna be
sorry.
laser engraved. I'm sorry. I think it says it's gonna be sandblasted. It's gonna be laser engraved, and,
Okay.
and so it's all through the computer. They do a plotting file and it plots it.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Um, and so what I give them will be what they laser on there.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I did that yesterday and did a little bit of running around. And then today I went to the 45th Infantry Museum. And then, but I realized when I left the 45th Infantry Museum, I was kind of antsy to get home. And I realized, no, wait a minute. Why should I be in, I'm
Such
off
a
work.
hurry. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, why should I be in a hurry to get home?
You
And
make rules for yourself, don't you? I mean, it's weird. We all run around like kind of like robots doing
oh,
things, with our programming. Yeah.
well, and so it's like, okay. So I decided tomorrow I'm just gonna first thing in the morning I'm gonna go downtown and wander around, spend most of the day downtown
Mm-hmm.
drawing. Um, you know, but I did this yesterday. I think I showed you this. I'll show this to the viewers. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I could just make it all you. Let me
I
do that.
that
I think I
make me
remember how to do that. Here we go. There
oh,
it is. Oh, look how big you are now. Look at that.
okay. So and
Sweet.
this is something. Hang on, let me grab the. So I've been messing with this for a while. If anybody's watched the program, this is the one I did originally,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a bug on there.
No, it's not.
So and I basically used the same. I opened up the front panel a little bit more. I like my second panel so much better on the. I was trying, we talked about gesture, so I tried to put a little more
Mm-hmm.
gesture
Mm-hmm.
into the panels. So and then so this is the guy walking, leaving here. He's kind of leaving the plane, and then there he's kind of walking. And I did
Mm-hmm.
away with that because I thought that was kind of a dead. I kind of changed the story a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this one was a lot better.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
idea to put the people attacking with the mariachi mask. I am not crazy about that last panel because everybody's kind of standing there. He's got his arm on his hand on his arm, but I'm still thinking about this. So that may
It's
get
it's pretty good gripping anatomy on that hand. That's pretty good hand.
okay.
And his outstretched hand is pretty good too. I like that.
Oh, thank you. I tried to be real careful about the hands because, but anyway, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this when I'm done. It's I'm gonna keep my idea is just to draw because I don't have anything. I'm not working on anything right now,
Sure.
necessarily. And so I'm just like I might as well draw a comic. So I was gonna draw this today, but I went out instead. So this is I'm working on the fight on page
Hmm.
2, and I think I
And you started working before you even start. You've got really nice burn like grids anymore when you do stuff.
oh yeah, well this page I showed you this, which doesn't have any figures on it. This is page I got 3 gridded out, which is this page.
So yeah, look at that. You've just got this whole thing so plotted that
Yeah, it's
but like that tutorial I sent you, and it was called manipulating primitives.
oh yeah, I like that.
If you were to just go the extra step of not using that grid to just draw boxes with, but use the volumes, use that as your correct volumes, but start laying in, some other kind of jelly beans and shapes like that kind of surprise the eye a little bit, but have a really nice volume structure there
So
on
have
that.
you seen this book, Ellis?
Spirit of the Pose. Who did that?
Carl Ganas.
Mm-hmm.
This
Carl.
second edition. Apparently, the first edition was a lot bigger and more expensive. But
There's your gesture,
oh,
Scott. Yeah. It's coming off. He's sat down, done a few studies, but it's all mostly about gesture for him, obviously.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so since we talked about gesture, I've been trying to think a lot more about that. I've been
Mm-hmm.
drawing in my sketchbook some of that. Just trying to get a little bit of twist in the figure so that it's a little more uh, a little more lively, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my reference I've been using for my kung fu stuff.
Oh, very good. Yeah, yeah.
I went through.
Someone went to the trouble of doing all those photo shoots for that stuff. Yeah, use it.
Oh my! Now I'm on my, and I've switched it up quite a bit, but I used it to get some of the poses. You know.
Hey, that one shot of that one guy really hitting that guy in the neck or whatever. What's he hitting him with? Is he hitting him with a ridge hand or is he hitting him with a punch? That one you were just on.
That one.
Yeah. What's he hitting him with?
The palm strike.
A palm strike. So that is basically saying, don't always think fist. Hit him with that meaty part of your hand, and you won't break a knuckle.
What's funny? Yeah. My instructor is a black belt, has been for a while. I asked him one time because we were talking about fighting stance, and I said, if you were fighting, if someone attacked you on the street, what would your fighting stance be? And he kind of gave me a deal like with the two hands, kind of one high, one about chest level, but open like this, like
yeah,
this.
Yeah.
And
to have your fingers out toward a guy like you're going to try to push him away or catch his fists as he throws them at you is probably a pretty smart idea, and you can still just wallop the heck out of somebody with that meaty part of your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Without even curling your fist. Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you got your thumb against your hand.
Yeah. You could always spring them, but it would probably be pretty easy to focus that bottom part of your palm into somebody.
Well, and his thing is, if someone really attacked him, and I mean, it's like they were coming after him, he would block them with his left hand if they took a swing at him, and then he'd try and get a knife chop to the throat.
Yeah.
And then they should go down, or a knife like that, palm up knife hand to the temple or the side of the neck. If you hit them in the right spot on the neck, you can knock them out.
Yeah. They've got a knockout of a couple guys goofing around in the Army where the guy was dubious of it. And the guy let him hit him in the neck and, didn't just wallop him with killing thing, but, it was a serious strike. And, boy, he went right out and fell down all along the sheetrock behind him, just slid down. It was pretty interesting.
If you change your mind about meeting me tomorrow, Ellis, let me know.
Okay, I will.
I'll be down there for several hours. So if you about 10 o'clock, if you say, I think I want to meet him, you can always call me.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I don't expect you will, because that's not. But
it's not how my brain works. Once I decided. Well, I've got a couple things. I claimed I was done with being on the roof. I've got kind of an itch to go up there and use the rest of my paint because I've got it just laying around. It's not going to do me any good, and there's some spots up there that could take some reinforcement. So I'm thinking about getting up there.
Oh yeah.
I should have got up there today. It was nice and cool.
It was cool today.
Yeah. I don't know what the weather's like tomorrow. I've got to work. What is it going to be cool again or not?
I don't know.
Probably going to get blistering hot.
I think it's supposed to. I mean, it's sunny out there now, so.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But
which is the way you want it. I saw a bunch of guys today in the park that were, I guess they were in the Air Force, but they were practicing their, what do you call the drills you do with with the old bolt action rifles.
Oh yeah, the where they're twirling it and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But these were obviously very, very new. They were very young people, and I guess it might be almost like a ROTC version of Air Force. And they were just being introduced to the grips and all that, So.
The joy of
learning something new.
Anyway,
I'm going to be on
what?
Drawn and Quarter tonight. I've decided that I was semi-invited, and we're going to draw our favorite alien, whichever that might be.
Have you figured out what yours is?
Yeah, I have. I'm probably going to do the classic invaders from Mars. I'll probably do a couple of them, the ones that were about 8 foot tall.
Yeah, the big,
I learned today that one of the guys that played one of the invaders from Mars, the really big ones, he was also played Gort. So he was
really?
Yeah. So
Well,
I mean,
Gort was the guy that played Gort. And I only say this because this is one of my favorite science fiction movies. The guy that played Gort was the doorman at the Man's Chinese Theater.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean he couldn't have been in the other movie too.
Well, no, he was kept busy because of being such a freak. Yeah. No, he had work. Yeah, you get some characteristics. It's like you'll find work in Hollywood. Yeah. Be a character of some sort.
You have an unusual face.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in the Man of 1,000 Faces with James Cagney. You know, he adds a quick scar to his face, and the guy says, "You with the scar," and he's got work. He's paying for his family's bread.
So I sent you a link to a research site where you can view old comics. Did you see that?
I did see that. Now, is that legal? It's kind of. It was kind of
the mother country. It is in the mother country where it came from.
Oh, where's it from?
I don't know.
Okay.
Iowa. And
okay. No. It was awesome. You prompted me by showing that one page you had of meatballs flying from the sky. I recognized that as it had to be, and just took a stab at it, and I typed in Zap, and I had it. Is that how you found it? Was in Zap?
Well, that's not how I found the site. I found the site. I was looking for an old issue of Avengers that isn't reprinted except in expensive out of print books.
Cool.
I found them, and I mean, I've been reading Bronze Age comics like nobody's business on that site.
Oh, they've got some great things. I guess I'll since we're mentioning it, I'll just go ahead and say to anybody that catches up with this, I'll put the link in our. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. You think it is illegal what they're up to?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think they're only getting away with it because another country.
Oh, okay. It is another country. Okay.
I believe it's a Russian website.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? People will be. This will be the only comment on this this show today. It's like, give us the link. That'll be the only comment.
Well, I'd hate for you to get your site zapped.
Well, I mean, some sort of link to somebody else doing something illegal. I don't know. I guess that could zap you.
Masonic Bible.
Oh yeah. Well, now that I'm glad you brought that up, I was drawn away here. Someone brought. Do you remember the old? Let's see. I gotta see if I can pronounce it. Jericho. Yeah, Theodore. Is it Theodore Jericho? The old painter, romantic painter. He did a painting called the Raft, the Medusa, which you probably saw a lot in art school, where a guy's waving his shirt. It's just beautiful composition, And
I think I'm familiar with this.
Yeah, it's and so I said, for some reason, I think that painting is in my dad's Masonic Bible, which I'll give the audience to be or whatever a look at this baby. And it's and you can see the Mason sign on it. And Dad would
yeah.
have probably been a member of Eastern Star, I believe, is their Masonic temple down there. And who was the fellow that we went to the funeral? Scott. He was Scott what?
Cosby.
Cosby, yes, good old Scott Cosby. He a big dude, and
well, I mean, he's big in the Mason.
yeah, he was a big dude, and he had a marvelously attended funeral, and I imagine half of that was based on, being in the Masons. They aren't going to let a guy get buried without quite a bit of everybody turning out for him.
Oh yeah,
So,
well, and my grandfather was a Mason, and my grandmother specifically did not want him to have a Masonic funeral. So like Scott Cosby had a full Masonic funeral where they read everything and did all their stuff, and it was really cool to go to. But my grandmother didn't want. My grandfather's in the Navy, so there was a lot of Navy. He was buried at Pensacola at the naval base, so they did the salute and everything.
Look at this, Matt C, who does Kyrie, pretty wonderful series. He's also a guy we should all be so good at working. God, guy
Masonic
puts it out there. Yeah, he says, I'm here for the Masonic Bible, because he's also a huge history buff. He knows everything about the time of the Bible in the Middle East.
Looking at books, and I always keep my eye out for unusual Bibles. And I'd love to find a Masonic Bible at a thrift store one day.
You guys should see the Masonic Lodge in Guthrie down the road from you guys. I imagine Guthrie has some pretty, it's got some oil wealth that went on back in the day at the turn of the century that made it, a pretty interesting spot. Entrance to the Great Porch. Wow. Well, now this, cool. I guess they're claiming probably the architecture back in that day. Probably. Oh, is it the case that normally?
Dude, I think that's the Temple of Solomon.
Yeah, showing the two pillars of brass, Jachin and Boaz, in relief. They bore the names and were placed in front of the porch leading to the sanctuary. The great porch of the house of God. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Temple of Solomon. Yeah, Matt, I think you're right. I think that's why I haven't been able to find one, because I don't believe they're supposed to be just dispersed to thrift stores.
Well, no, this is my dad's. So
no, but I'm saying I've been looking for one, and he's saying,
"Oh yeah, you're not supposed to pass them, or you're not supposed to sell them." Certainly, I wouldn't think. No, this will go into somebody else's hand. Bird's eye view: King Solomon's Temple, Palace, and Citadel. Artist interpretation. Well, yeah, I mean, we haven't even started. I've just barely cracked this thing. I ought to try to speed read it, but you get into things like this. Porch of Judgment. I guess the whole point of this early part of the. Oh, well, look at that. Restoration by John Wesley Kelchner. I guess he's trying to. Boy, Samson didn't push that pillar down. Let me tell you.
That was the wrong temple. That was the Babylonians temple. This is the built in Jerusalem.
Wow.
Well, okay.
Ooh, a little, yeah.
But it was the one that was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD.
House of the Forest of Lebanon. Woo, man, they should bring back some of this architecture. The treasure room. I mean, we're talking about Indiana Jones stuff here. This is
Well, yeah. If you look in the Old Testament, all that is described in the one that the Egyptians, that the Jews, when they left Egypt, they built one that was a tent that they carried with them, and all that is described in Exodus, where all the plans, build it this big and this and all this stuff.
Yeah.
In
The good.
I think it's in First or Second Kings where it talks about this one and how this one will be built. But I
Check
don't
this
know.
out. Can you tell what that is in that little bitty detail look in there? It's got this distinctive, like a couple of like wings on each end of it. It's the
Oh yeah,
ark.
is that the
That's the ark of the.
Covenant?
It looks a lot like how Spielberg did it.
Where do you think Spielberg got his idea?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's
Lithographs, I'm
described.
not sure about the printing process. Probably they are litho and added to it. A Masonic creed. I better flip these pages pretty quick, or I'll have somebody steal this from me. I may not be supposed to have it.
We'll be. You're not. This will get you banned.
I need to join now.
To be one, you got to ask for one.
It's got a lot of stuff in it that is, I mean, obviously the Bible wouldn't just be seriously this big. It's got all this extra stuff. You should read it in the light of, and go here and there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's see what Natasha. I've been to that lodge, and they had a headquarters in Tulsa, the Scottish Rite building.
Oh yeah,
six floors underground, in ground or whatever. Underground. That's a lot of it's a lot of clay digging around here.
My in-laws lived in Guthrie for a long time, and I was always interested in going to that, but I was the only one.
Yeah, Guthrie's got some great stuff. Man, this thing is a rich thing. I'm gonna have to.
Did you or something, or you just had it kicking around?
Oh yeah, I've had it for quite a while, and I used to look at it when I was a kid because of all it is so richly illustrated. If I would find the main plates, I've got a feeling I'm wrong about that. I just have a memory of that sort of illustration being in this Bible. I've said I've got a lot of. Oh yeah, here's all the Gustav Dor stuff. Dor. Oh yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up here.
Which chapter talks about the flying saucers?
Wow. The history of Ruth, the gentle and loving convert of Moab. Then it's got, it's funny though, they don't have a whole lot of credits. It doesn't look for the art as it appears. And then they have stuff like this that's like, I could draw better than that. Like that. That is straightforward, pretty simple illustration.
But you're not a Mason, so you wouldn't be allowed to.
Yeah.
You got to take the oath.
Solomon's prayers at the dedication of the temple. And then the Great Pyramid from the desert. Old photograph. Oh yeah. Of course, all this stuff. They built right up to it. The Sphinx, the Great Pyramid. An Egyptian well. Looks like something that Charlton Heston's running, ready to jump over and stick you in the mouth with his staff.
I missed that chapter of Genesis, but okay.
Yeah. It's an action.
Have you ever seen Robert Crumb? Have you ever seen Robert Crumb's adaptation of Genesis?
No, I bet it's great.
Oh yeah, I've got a copy of it. I mean, and he doesn't. It's very straightforward. He doesn't. He doesn't.
Copy. Yeah, this is I'm pretty sure that's Dore. Maybe not. Maybe other people could pull that off, but I think it is.
I'll have to look and
Got
see.
got the parting of the Red Sea.
I can't tell if that's a is that an etching or is it a?
Well, it looks like the traditional, thing that Dore was up to with line weights and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I have a
However,
book of. That's what I need to do on my dad's tombstone. I need to do it where it's got a lot of etching lines in it and stuff.
furniture of the tabernacle. There's a real good detail on the ark with the angels looking directly, but they've got crossed wings.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Moses
think
descending the Sinai with the law,
Oh yeah,
and that I believe
they
that's
made it.
yeah, it's got to be Dore. I'm pretty sure of it because he did. Have you got something like this laying around? Well, no, that says Castelli. That's a guy.
I do have a book of Dore stuff, or Dore, however you say his name.
Yeah.
I got an old Dover book of it, which Dover books were great. I got a Dover book of his biblical illustrations.
Well, now I wonder if my notion that I had no, right over here, that's Dore, G Dore, and then for some other reason they have another guy that gets to sign it over here, and it may be some sort of craftsman involved in the.
Been the etcher.
Yeah, the etcher maybe. So it had two signatures on it.
I'm glad you pulled that out. You really inspired me, Ellis, because I'm gonna do that I was gonna do like a straight line drawing, but I think I'm gonna go in and add a lot of hatching lines to it.
Well, you got to watch it because if you want to be anti-gesture, you'll do a whole lot of rendering like that.
No, I'm talking about on my dad.
Okay. You're not worried about your comic strip. You're talking about what you're doing for your dad. Okay. Yeah, over here in the corner it says. It's funny. It says G Dore, but it looks like Dong. But no, that's Dore. Yeah, and he did a lot of biblical illustration. Driving buyers and sellers driven from the temple. Yeah, and all these great shots that were probably, turn of the century photography.
Oh, I got a phone call.
You did? Oh, from Mason?
Yeah.
Probably so.
Yeah,
so stop him now. If you know what's good for you, you'll stop him now. We'll skip to more plates. The wickedness of man, Genesis 5 and 6.
Oh boy, that's probably the longest chapter. So I've got.
Well, they had a lot to talk about. The wickedness of man. Oops. Ooh, that's a nice color plate.
So here's one of my Dore books.
Yeah, illustrations of the Crusades. That'll be brutal.
Now I do have the one that's all his biblical illustrations. By the way, I got this triangle A and E.
Oh, cool.
But dude, I am totally doing my dad's tombstone with like etching kind of lines.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's quite a it's quite a thing to do. You can see it in Frazetta. He obviously said, I could be, if I wanted to be, Joseph Clement Cole. And he obviously encountered that guy as a guy to give it a shot and do a lot of that with his ink work. But of course, you are painting with line when you decide to do something like that. That's what,
Check this out.
Let's see what you got there. Ooh, yeah, look at that. That's pretty amazing that a guy did that with lines laying next to lines, all that tone.
Twice.
Woo, look at that. I just can't get over his stuff. Like, well, it's the same thing when you see a Michelangelo in marble. It's like, it's something can look foamy when Michelangelo is doing it. Look at that.
Are you Bernini?
Bernini, yes.
He's a sculptor. I got a book of his, and I mean, the clothing carved out of marble. It looks like it's like fabric.
We can do that with 3D printing now. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's not the same. I mean,
yeah.
First off, doing it out of marble is just pretty impressive.
It's got some nasty turned over abuse of the tops of some of the pages. I gotta look into seeing if I can get that back to normal. It has some bad dog earring.
Yeah. You think your dad was saving his spot?
No, it just looks like some dog earring happened.
Yeah.
I thought they were...
Maybe next week I'll have I'll when I get the hands drawn, I'll email them to you, Ellis.
Okay, that sounds cool. I mean, it's cool that you're, going to have something that basically may last for 1,000 years, Scott. Yeah. I don't know what do they do to graveyards after 1,000 years has happened. I think most of them disappear, don't they?
Yeah, I think once the tombstones break apart, that's it's grand.
Well, it's just where the the real estate pushes people. Yeah, that almost looks like.
Well, yeah, I mean,
estate
who
market.
knows what'll be going? 1,000.
Yeah, in 1,000 years.
Actively exhuming dead people for their space.
Yeah, these turn. Yeah, I'm almost sure the raft of Medusa is not going to be in here. That was just me thinking, yeah, those old classic Renaissance paintings, which, as Matt C. pointed out, the guy is a romantic, one of the Jericho. Yeah, it's more like Jericho.
What's the name of the thing? Raft of Medusa?
Raft of the Medusa. Yeah, it's got, you couldn't have better composition. It's basically one strong triangle matched by another triangle on the other side with negative space triangle in between those two triangles. Your eye looks at that painting and it gets trapped. It's really quite the composition. That's a pretty cool painting of Jesus right there. I don't know who did it, but it's pretty cool.
I think when I was a kid, there used to be a huge painting of Jesus that looked very similar to that, hanging in the lobby of my church in the foyer.
This artwork, obviously was done by masters that were being probably their main. What do you call it? Supporters. What do you call supporters when it's the church? It's your what? Patrons. Yeah. Your patrons. Yeah. Patron saints in some cases. Yeah. Women at the sepulchre.
I have an illustrated Bible. I have a couple. One of them has like really nice paintings in it. And I don't know what they're from or whatever, but they're just nice illustrations. Then I have one that's got photos of all the areas. When it talks about Jerusalem or Egypt or whatever, it has pictures of that area. When it talks about I think it was Joseph. No, it wasn't Joseph. That was always drilling wells, and wasn't Joseph. Who was it? Anyway. Somebody was in the Old Testament was always drilling wells everywhere they went. Not drilling wells, but digging wells. And it has a picture of Bedouins at a well, in the desert in Egypt or wherever.
Well, yeah. Water Number one, guy gets has it go through his head and gets a success at something like being a supplier of water.
Jacob, that's who drilled all the well.
Complete and Practical Household Dictionary of the Bible. Dictionaries, biography, geography, and natural history by the distinguished and popular author William Smith. Pretty cool. Wow. Yeah. Now this is going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a heavily illustrated dictionary. Cool. Antioch, ant. I don't know why they defined ant.
Ant.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they've got all these. Here's an ancient Arabia map. There's a whole lot of stuff that would be fascinating to study against today. Behemoth or hippopotamus. So they're going to go ahead and say that sightings of a hippo probably caused the word behemoth to be coined, maybe. Oh man, this is. Yeah. I have to keep this thing a little more handy. It's got some great ideas in it. This is the Matt C's whole thing. The Garrico painting on the wiki. You can see the tiny ship the castaways are waving at, hoping to be noticed by. Yeah. It's an actual event where it started out 100. It's like it's like Jaws. They hit the water with a raft. They quickly clung together. They were all sinking in like the 1800s. And about 150 went in, and I don't believe even 30 survived it. And they turned on each other. They cannibalized each other. They killed and threw each other overboard. And it just came because they almost instantly lost their water. They had a big barrel of water, and they instantly lost it. And so it was a place for stress. And it sounds fascinating. It was one of those turning points too for the government involved, supposedly. Ooh, there's a big map. The Travels of St. Paul. That's interesting.
I looked it up too. That's a nice painting.
Yeah, it's a great composition. It's interesting to see so many different separations and values of the thing when you look up a painting like that. It's like, well, which one do I like? And then you think, well, which one does it actually look like? You think to yourself, is that the one I want?
Oh, yeah. Your Masonic Bible is pretty nice too, Ellis.
Yeah, it is. Ancient Sarcophagus. A new practical concordance to the Old and New Testaments. I'm not sure. What is a concordance? Oh, no, it's giving you words. Oh, yeah, giving you words and then giving you where you'll find that word mentioned. For the word preach, they'll have all these things referring throughout the Bible to preaching. Well, cool. Yes. So that was my Masonic Bible. I was wrong. The raft of the Medusa is not in there. So that was just so I'll go back to drawing my goon character. I think we're at 45 minutes.
Show the front cover of that, Ellis.
Okay. Yeah. If you bet.
Masonic Bible again.
Yeah, you bet. Oof. Man, I tell you what, thing must weigh. What does that weigh? Got my dad's name on it. And got the what is the tool?
The compass and the
compass and a square. Yeah, square and a compass.
I'm looking at Masonic Bible. You can buy a Masonic Bible on
probably eBay.
I don't know if they're illustrated.
there's a really cool lady called Jane Drills or something like that.
Yeah.
You bet, Matt. Thanks for dropping by and making a couple of really interesting. Thanks for giving me the info on the Guerrico painting. That was pretty interesting. Matt knows all this stuff. He's taken his own repeated deep dives into history. He loves history. He reflected in his Kyrie series of books. He and
Does it say Fred on the?
Yeah, Fred W. Goodson.
I never knew your dad's name was Fred. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's yeah, that'll fall into somebody's hands that no doubt wants to keep it and think about my dad probably. He touched a lot of people.
Yeah, sounds like it. Your mom too.
Yeah. It's interesting. She didn't have the equivalent, I don't think. Or of course, there would have been a little bit of a competition over who got to keep, because my granddad is also in Eastern Star. Yeah. Now, Natasha said something about that. That's for elderly people, but I don't think so. I don't think that. I think it's just the general name of their particular chapter down there.
I don't know. It's broken up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if they break it up saying, okay, you'll have to be in the elderly chapter of our lodge.
Yeah.
What? I'm not old. I'll do push-ups. How many push-ups do you think you can do? I can.
Who, me?
No. I'm saying that's what Joe Biden challenged that guy to push-up contest.
He challenged somebody to push-up contest?
Yeah. I mean,
recently.
Well, when he was the one little bit of campaigning he did when he was still not the candidate, they kind of pulled him aside and put him under wraps about from that moment on. Really,
they're like, "Don't be doing that, dude.
Don't do that, Joe. You can't get in the face of these guys that supposedly you want their votes and challenge them to a push-up contest."
Exactly.
Yeah, I gotta get some new tools out here. I gotta break them. Oh, I've got new brushes right over here to my left. I'll use them. Oh, I bought I've gone the exact opposite from what I told you that one time. I was despairing of doing painting, and now it's like, no, I'm just starting on this painting stuff. Because are
you painting? I'm painting. I'm confused.
I am painting. I'm digging it because I've discovered a new approach, which brings me closer to closer to the Frazetta, what he's up to, I think, which was to do an awful lot of wash. At least the Frazetta era, I really like, which is all those creepy and eerie covers. I like any Frazetta, but his creepy and eerie covers were almost sketch level. And what he was doing when he was doing those had a lot of what you could call wash. I was even looking at the one where the werewolf and Dracula are having a big wrestling match. And you can see the Masonite poking through everywhere in that thing, including he's using it as the paint for at the end of the werewolf's hands. He's just decided to paint up until the end and then just leave the silhouette of the Masonite being the color of the werewolf's hands. And that's pretty amazing. Your eye for value to be able to do what Frazetta was doing there. We're saying, I'll leave this masonite in. And of course you can dab up the color you put down real easily in with an oil. So, he may have tried it and got it halfway done, picked it up again. Because that's what he's doing. He's doing pickouts a lot. And but then I've decided he probably let it dry and then came back in and glazed it. And that is so exciting to me because that lets me paint and just get my values right, which is much simpler than trying to get paint out of the tube to look right when you're painting with color.
Oh, yeah.
Get the values
cool.
right.
Yeah. Michelle's roommate in college paints, and she's really, she had something at the Cowboy Hall of Fame recently, one of their shows. She's really good. Yeah. We've gone to a couple of her we actually bought one of her really small paintings because they're not cheap, but
yeah, that's got me kind of fired up. Of course, I'm watching YouTube videos of people that are painting with glazes and stuff like that, so getting more educated.
Oh, I saw that you did a YouTube thing. It popped up, but I hadn't had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, it just shows how I colorized all 5 of them I've done over the past almost a year, how they came out.
Oh, really?
But the deal I discovered is I got away with it, but I was thinning my paints with just turpentine. But that turpentine, of course, is going to be nasty and kind of dirty because it's what you clean your brush with. You can, and the way you should probably do it is with some sort of medium and liquid. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes. You are correct, Natasha. Eastern Star has men and women, usually elderly. Masons and Shriners are usually men only. You are correct. The Eastern Star does, in fact, have men and women. So that would make it not officially a Masonic lodge, or a type of Masonic lodge, anyway.
Wait, because it can't be a Masonic lodge if it's got women?
Well, the Masons, yeah, I believe are only men. Don't say that too loud. They'll break that door down.
Yeah. Now we're definitely
now we really have caused trouble. Yeah.
The pirate comic book site. So one thing I did do at that site was because it has comics that come out like the day they come out. Mm-hmm. So I went through and just kind of looked. And honestly, if there's anything interesting that I wanted, I'd go buy it. I'm not going to save $6 or whatever I want. But I went through and I used it to come up with a list of editors.
Yeah.
It's like,
you can do that.
Well,
it's like the Internet Movie Database Pro version. Yeah.
Well, I just went through all the recent Marvel comics and who's working on what, and there's not that many editors at Marvel.
No, if a guy was really seriously trying to do what I claim I wanted to do, which was write a script and sell it, you would have Internet Movie Data Pro. I mean, yeah, you want that kind of data to try to have conversations with people.
But could you send it to anybody? I mean, see, I don't know.
Well, yeah, the Internet Movie Data Pro, they give you miscellaneous mailing addresses that you're not going to find any other way. And it's weird. Yeah, you could mail
So you
people
could-
stuff, and
Oh, I didn't know if it was like, no, don't send us anything.
well, no. If you had that that pro status with the, it would be stuff where you just have a little more access to somebody's people, as they say. You would know who to send it to. You're wanting to
Oh.
sell something to Netflix. It's going to be just like you've done with that comic book. It's going to have data that you wouldn't get ordinarily. It's going
Yeah, I
to.
figured that you'd have to come from an agent.
Yeah. It is like having an agent a little bit to be in the pro.
Now, why are you not doing this then? Is it expensive?
Well, it's not terribly expensive. It's about like I imagine having Netflix or something. Probably a little more than that.
God.
I'll look it up for you. Yeah. Everybody ought to have it, huh? Let's see.
Well,
Internet.
if they're trying to sell.
Yeah, if they're trying to
Yeah,
do
man.
stuff. Internet movie database pro. Starts your 30-day free trial. So you could try it. See
Well, I
what
don't
they
have a
want
script to sell.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see the price tag on it right away. Oh, $12.50 a month. Or annual price is $12.50 a month, coming to a total of $150. But if you pay monthly, it's $20 a month, which not too bad if you had a use for it.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah, if that's what you're wanting to do.
Natasha International says, by the way, guys, I have been on a Jim Lee run. I bought the artist edition of 90s X-Men. It's the original 11x17. I also bought Wildcats. I'm not too familiar with Wildcats, but I guess that's probably some of his best character design. And $100 hardcover omnibus. Yep. Yeah, that when you get the original size artwork size, it's nice, as an artist to realize, okay, this was how it went down, to look at that art.
I don't know if Natasha was here last week, but here's what I got recently. It's the smaller version. So apparently what they've been doing now on some of those big artist edition, because this was originally a full-size artist edition, and this is I think it's 9x12. It's identical to an artist edition in that it's color copies of the original art. And I love this. I got this not necessarily because it's John Romita, but because all John Romita actually did breakdowns on on all these issues, and they were finished by Jim Mooney. And I love Jim Mooney, but you'll never find an Art of Jim Mooney book. But I love some of what he's doing here.
Yeah.
So this is kind of what I'm using as kind of a guide for some of this stuff in regard to spotting blacks. In other words, one thing I've noticed about the bronze stuff, especially Jim Mooney stuff, is there's a lot of blacks. And so I'm kind of reminding myself, spot more blacks, do more of that. But yeah, the artist editions are cool. If I could have, this artist edition is out of print. It's about $300 now. But I like this. I can look at it a little bit easier to look at my desk.
Yeah.
I have all of the John Byrne artist editions. There's 3 of them: the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and kind of a miscellaneous one of Marvel stuff. If they put them out this size, I'll probably buy all 3 of them. Just because this is great to look at. I can throw this in my backpack and look at it at lunchtime.
Yeah. No, that is nice. Yeah.
It's the bad
great
thing is it doesn't stay open. Yeah. It doesn't really lay.
You got to be tempted
as cheap as it is, I'm kind of cranking on it a little bit.
Yeah. If it is cheap, just break it open. Yeah. Break that spine a little bit. Even if the sheets all become loose leaf, it's like, you can keep them gathered one way or the other. Well, you ready to end it, Scott? We're 59 minutes.
Yep, let's end it. thank you everybody for joining us.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody was, I primed them. I actually went to the trouble of sending something to Twitter that we were about to have something. And I talked to, like I say, I had a little dialogue with Matt earlier. So he knew that it was
Oh,
coming.
that's cool. Cool.
Okay. Well, I am. Go ahead.
Are you going to end broadcast?
You go ahead. Whatever you were going to say. Yeah.
If you change your mind about meeting me tomorrow, let me know, Ellis.
Okay. Okay. I will. Okay. Ending now. Right at an hour.